The ocean was too calm for something that deep. That was the first thing Lena noticed when the cruise ship engines went silent. No storm. No warning, just the low mechanical hum beneath their cabin floor fading into nothing. Mark laughed when the lights flickered. Probably maintenance. They had booked the voyage as a late honeymoon, a smaller luxury ship crossing a remote stretch of ocean where the horizon looked endless and clean. No land for days. No signal. Just curated romance and curated isolation. That first evening had felt perfect. Soft music on the upper deck. Salt air. Distant laughter from other passengers who all seemed carefully dressed and vaguely anonymous. But when the engine stopped, something shifted. The ocean flattened, not rough, not restless. Flat, like glass stretched to infinity. Lena stepped onto the balcony outside their cabin. The sea below didn't move. It didn't breathe. It looked suspended. Is that normal? She asked. Mark joined her, resting his arms on the railing. Calm seas are good. But his voice lacked conviction. There was no wind. Even the flag at the ship's stern hung limp. The silence wasn't absence of sound. It was pressure. Then came the announcement. A soft chime, followed by the captain's voice. Ladies and gentlemen, we are experiencing a brief navigational recalibration. Please remain in your cabins until further notice. The phrasing felt rehearsed. Mechanical. Almost. Detached. Mark shrugged. See? Nothing. But Lena didn't move. Far out in the distance, she thought she saw something. A darker patch in the water, not floating, watching. That night, the ship remained still. Dinner was cancelled. No staff in the corridors. No footsteps. No laughter from other rooms. Just long, carpeted hallways humming faintly with emergency lights. At 2:13 a.m. Lena woke to find Mark sitting upright at the edge of the bed. He wasn't blinking. What are you doing? She whispered. I heard knocking. He said quietly. From where? The hull. A slow, deliberate sound echoed faintly through the metal walls. 3 knocks. Pause. 3 knocks. Not loud. Not violent. Measured, like someone checking if something inside was still there. Lena swallowed. It's the water. Mark turned to her slowly. There are no waves. The knocking came again. This time closer by morning. The sky had turned the wrong color. Not stormy, not bright. Just a pale, diluted grey that erased depth from the upper deck. Passengers stood in uneasy clusters. Some whispered. Some stared. Overboard, the ocean stretched flat and endless in every direction. In a horizon line. It simply faded upward into sky. As if the world had been folded. Lena gripped Mark's hand. Do you feel that? He did. A subtle vibration underfoot, not engine rhythm. Something slower, like breathing. The captain never appeared. Instead, another announcement. We advise all couples to remain together. A strange instruction. Why couples? Mark forced a grin. Maybe they're worried about panic. But Lena noticed something else. There were no children on deck. No elderly passengers. No single travelers. Only pairs. Always 2. That afternoon, the first argument happened. Small. Petty. Meaningless. Mark accused Lena of overreacting. Lena snapped that he never listened. Their voices felt louder than they should have in the windless air. Other couples nearby began arguing too. Sharp whispers. Accusations. Old grievances resurfacing. The ship seemed to amplify tension. Lena suddenly felt something intrusive, as if her private doubts about Mark were being lifted and exposed. She looked around. Several couples had separated. Standing at opposite sides of the deck, one woman was crying quietly. Her husband stared blankly at the sea. Then, without warning, he climbed the railing. No screamed. No rush to stop him. He simply stepped forward. There was no splash. No ripple. The water absorbed him without disturbance. The surface remained perfectly smooth. A crew member calmly escorted the woman away. Please return to your cabin, he said softly. As if nothing had happened that night. The knocking returned, louder now, directly beneath their cabin floor. Mark paced. They're not telling us something. Lena sat on the bed, staring at the darkened porthole. I think it's telling us something. The metal beneath them vibrated. Gently. 3 knocks. Pause. 3 knocks. Mark pressed his ear to the floor. It's rhythmic. Like a signal? Lena asked. No, he whispered, like a response. The room tilted not physically, but perceptually, as if gravity had shifted inward. Lena felt an intrusive thought push into her mind. What if only one of them needed to leave? The announcement came again, softer this time. Balance must be maintained. Mark froze. Did you hear that? Yes. Balance of what? The knocking stopped. Silence returned. Then the ship moved. Not forward, not backward. Down. Just slightly. As if something vast beneath them had shifted its grip on the final morning. The ocean reflected the sky like a flawless mirror. Half the couples were gone. No missing person reports. No panic, just empty deck chairs. Mark looked exhausted. Lena hadn't slept. They stood at the railing together. The sea below felt close. Intimate. Patient. I had a dream, Mark said quietly. So did I, he swallowed. In mine. The ocean wasn't water. Lena's voice trembled. It was looking up at us. A crew member approached. Polite smile. Calm eyes. Recalibration is nearly complete, he said. For departure. For equilibrium. Behind him, another man stepped onto the railing. No. One tried to stop him. This time, Lena noticed something impossible. As he fell, the surface of the ocean didn't break. It opened. Just slightly, like an eyelid. Then closed. The ship hummed again. Engines restarting. The horizon returned. Waves reappeared. Normal. Crew members resumed duties. Music faintly played from speakers. Passengers, the remaining ones, blinked as if waking from sleep. Mark exhaled sharply. See? It's over. But Lena couldn't look away from the water. She felt lighter, unbalanced, incomplete. She looked at Mark, really looked at him, and realized something was missing. Not physically, emotionally, the irritation, the doubt, the quiet resentment she'd carried for months. Gone, smooth, like the ocean had taken it, or fed on it, that night. As the ship approached distant shorelights, Lena stood alone on the balcony. Mark slept inside. The sea below rippled normally now, almost gently, but beneath the sound of the returning engines. She heard it again. 3 soft knocks. Pause. 3 knocks. Not from below, from inside her chest. And she understood. The ocean hadn't taken passengers. It had taken imbalance. It had taken the part of each couple that threatened to break the pair. And somewhere beneath the surface, in the pressure and the dark, something ancient was still recalibrating, waiting for the next voyage, if the sea only takes what disrupts balance. What do you think it would take from you?